Now, what is deep state? And does it really exist? Because in the past few weeks in this country, the topic and the discussions within the political circles has actually revolved around the topic of deep state and the system. What is deep state? And does it really exist? Let us get the meaning of the word deep state from dictionary.com. This is how dictionary.com defines the deep state. It's saying the deep state is believed to be a clandestine network entrenched inside the government, bureaucracy, and intelligence agencies and other governmental entities. The deep state supposedly controls state policies behind the scenes, while the democratically elected process and elected leaders are merely figureheads. So from that, we can easily conclude that deep state is a group of people who are not elected, but controls the system or the process, the political process from behind the scenes. In this country, we can view someone like David Murade, who is not an elected leader, as part of the deep state. You can view Francis Atwoli, who is very powerful, not elected, as part of the deep state. You can talk of someone like Nancy Gitau as part of the deep state. I actually did a comprehensive video about deep state on this particular channel, the video of 5 members of President Uhuru Kenyatta's system. With that in mind, what is normally the purpose of the deep state? And does it really exist? Because in this year alone, the deputy president has talked about the deep state and the system twice. In March, the deputy president talked about the system during the burial of the late Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei. And during that time, the deputy president told Kenyans that there is a system which is planning and doing everything possible to stop him from ascending to the presidency. And he told the gathering that for him, he has his God. So that was the first time the deputy president talked about the system. And again yesterday, the deputy president also spoke about the system. And according to his statement yesterday, the deputy president was very clear. I want you to listen to him very closely before we continue.
Nilikuwa natishiwa siku hiyo, kama ningekuwa mtu muoga, hatungeunda hii serikali ya Jubilee. Kama Uhuru Kenyatta angekuwa mtu muoga, hatungeunda hii serikali ya Jubilee, kwa sababu tulikuwa tunatishiwa mambo mingi. Choices have consequences. Nyinyi hamfai kwa sababu mko na kesi ya kule na ni kesi ya uongo. Ni vile tu tunaambiwa hata saa hii. Tunatishiwa ati iko system, ati iko deep state, ati iko watu watatuibia kura. Hata mkipiga kura namna gani, kuna watu wameketi mahali fulani wataamua. Mimi nataka niwaambie, hawa watu tunawangojea. Hiyo deep state tunangojea. Na hiyo system tunangojea. Watakuja na system, sisi tutakuja na wananchi na Mungu. Na tutaona vile hii kazi itaendelea.
No, that's the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. And from his speech, we can easily conclude that the deputy president has actually acknowledged the existence of a system. But he has acknowledged the existence of a system, but he doesn't fear that particular system. He's ready to deal with them. And for those who follow the politics in this country very closely, ahead of the last general election, the deputy president was very sure that they were going to win. And at some point, he even told the entire country that they managed to beat Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi while the three were actually in government. And now that they were not in government, and now Uhuru and Ruto were in government, there was nothing which was going to stop them. I want you to listen to the deputy president during that time very closely before we continue.
In 2013, we faced a formidable opponent with a sitting prime minister and a sitting vice president running almost 3/4 of government. But today, We face a clueless, rudderless, leaderless, planless, disorganized opposition. Hesabu ni ya maana. Hata ingawaje hesabu ni ngumu, lakini lazima tufanye hiyo hesabu. Mimi nimewaambia hawa wangwana kwamba wewe ulikuwa waziri wa KANU wa mwaka mmoja. Mimi nikawa waziri wa KANU wa miezi miwili. Kwa sababu I was appointed Minister for Home Affairs in October, tukafukuzwa December. Tukaenda upinzani, alafu tukarudia hii serikali ya nusu mkate. Mimi nikakaa 2.5 years nikafukuzwa, wewe ukakaa tu karibu miaka 3 ukafukuzwa. So ukiongeza miaka yote mimi na wewe tumekesi cabinet ni miaka 7. Ukiongeza yangu na yako. Lakini ukiongeza ya wale tunaoshindana na wao, Musalia sijui miaka 30. Ule Kalonzo miaka 35 sijui. Ule Kitendawili miaka 20 na kitu. Ule mwingine wa matatizo miaka 10 na kitu, karibu inafika 20. Hiyo hesabu yote miaka yao inakuwa miaka 105. Maswali wa Kenya wanataka kujua, ile hawakuweza kufanya kwa miaka 105 watawezaje kufanya kwa miaka 5 ambayo wanapigania eti wachaguliwe? Ni miujiza gani hawa wangwana wako nayo? Ama wanafikiri uganga inafanya kazi?
Now we are all in agreement that there is something called the deep state. It's not only in this country called Kenya, but the deep state or the system is something which is everywhere, where there is politics, where there are political leadership, and even in some organizations. There are so many people who are powerful and they are never elected. I want to give you, for example, assuming NASA won presidency, and assuming Njigi Wanjigi supported NASA. Today, Njigi Wanjigi would actually be a system. I know so many people around Raila Amolo Odinga. They are never elected. They're just there. But these guys are very powerful. When they tell Raila this, even if you are a elected leader, you can't bypass that. So we are in agreement that there is something called the deep state. The other agreement that we must arrive at is that the fact that this system or the deep state is against the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. We also know that Raila Odinga has failed to be elected the President of the Republic of Kenya because of what is called the deep state. But I've looked at the Deputy President and I've compared him to Raila Amolo Odinga. And in my view, the Deputy President is enjoying some advantage over Raila Amolo Odinga at the same level. When Raila Odinga was contesting in 2013 or 2007, and when the Deputy President will be contesting, the Deputy President has some 3 advantages. And 2 advantages. Number 1, the Deputy President has been part of this deep state. So he understands how the deep state operates. And when someone understands how something operates, so it means there's a way he can even try to avoid it. So like if you are going to Maseno and you realize that there is an accident in Kisian, which is not likely to end soon, and the jam is just too much, so you can decide to drive through Bondo Road, then unakatia pale sema, wende the other side. So normally there's a way, the Deputy President, having been part of the system, he understands how these guys operate. So it means he can actually plan ahead of them at any given time. That's number 1. Number 2, the Deputy President also has money. And money always speaks in this country and everywhere. He can use money to buy information because information is power. So he can use money to buy information from from the members of the deep state. But at the same time, the Deputy President also has some disadvantage. And there are 3 disadvantages which the Deputy President is currently facing in this country. The first disadvantage of the Deputy President is that he lacks reform credentials. There is nothing which you can tell people that the Deputy President has always stood for. So which means if the system will decide to rob him his victory, he will do nothing. He can't organize for demonstrations. which people can really support the deputy president when it comes to reforms. Remember the other day, Professor Makau Mutua told Kenyans that the deputy president and his team reached out to him because they want to influence the civil society. But that move failed. And those who follow this channel, I said recently that the deputy president is actually trying to penetrate the civil society through people like Hassan Omar, who is a close friend of mine. So he lacked that reform credentials. So Kenyans will just be watching him. Si wewe umekuwa na hiyo deep state yako, weka nayo. So that's the biggest disadvantage. The second disadvantage is that the deputy president might have supporters, but I don't think he has supporters who can sacrifice for him. The question I ask you is simple. I put to you simple. Assuming today the system decides to replace the IBC officials or to retain them, because if they're retained, then it means they just do the way the system wants. Do you think the deputy president has supporters who can pour themselves into the street to defend him? Do you think people from Kiambu or the Kikuyu businessmen from Nairobi County or even in Nyeri can close their shops to go to the streets to fight the system because the deputy president victory is likely to be stolen? Can that happen? It can't happen. So the deputy president don't really have enough troops, supporters who can sacrifice. These supporters will be able to support him, but they can't sacrifice their comfort. William Ruto supporters from central Kenya, I am sure, they can't risk supporting the deputy president that for 2 days, the way NASA called him Mandamano, that for the all 1 week, they are going to call Mandamano to interfere with the operations at the IBC, because IBC are planning to lock him out through the system. Number 3, I think also the impact. That's another disadvantage the deputy president has. What do I mean? For William Ruto to successfully fight the system, he must have Nairobi. Today, I don't think the deputy president has control over Nairobi. Apart from that, if you look at this entire country, the other place he has support is Rift Valley. Then what next after Rift Valley? Raila Odinga enjoyed the support of the entire country to an extent that he would call demonstrations in Nairobi. Kisumu will erupt, Mombasa will erupt, Northeastern will erupt. So at least because they were spread across, so the impact was big. For deputy president, if that were to replicate during that time, what we will do is that we will see demonstrations in Rift Valley and nowhere else. But what coded message was the deputy president William Samoei Ruto trying to send to President Uhuru Kenyatta by telling him that he fears none of those deep states? What message was he trying to send? Because you all know that in this country and the world over, there is nothing which is just by coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned and executed. What was the objective of the deputy president William Samoei Ruto telling the president that he doesn't fear the deep state? In my view, 4 reasons. The first reason is that the deputy president is well aware that he has been betrayed. So he was just reminding President Uhuru Kenyatta that, look here, boss, I know you've betrayed me. And I know you are planning with the help of the deep state to undermine me. So just know that I know that you have betrayed me. And as a matter of fact, the mere fact that the deputy president will be running and without the support of his boss, that's betrayal. So he's just reminding this guy. And that's why in his speech, the deputy president was very clear that they were told about the deep state during ICC. They won't be elected because they had the case. They were told choices have consequences. He's saying that because they were with Uhuru Kenyatta. So he's trying to appeal to the emotions of the supporters of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Number 2, I think the deputy president is not prepared for the deep state. All along, he had worked for the presidency. He knew so well that for him to win the presidency, he needed to be on the side of the deep state. And he knew also for him to make a name for himself, he needed to get out of the system. So in 2006, the deputy president got out of the system, all the deep state, joined Raila Odinga in ODM, managed to campaign for him. Raila Odinga became the prime minister. He became the minister for agriculture. So he made a name there. In 2013, he opted to go back into the deep state because he had now planned to focus on his presidential bid in 2022. So he went there, go to Uhuru Kenyatta, they formed an alliance, and the alliance moved them. So the deputy president by this time was actually sure of the support from the deep state. So the mere fact that these guys are now out there opposing him, confirms that the deputy president was not prepared for the deep state to oppose it. Number 3 is that he's also telling the president through that statement that, look here, boss, nothing is going to stop me from contesting for the presidency. So the deputy president has decided that he's going to go for the presidency in 2022. So nothing is going to change that. And that's what he was telling Uhuru Kenyatta, that you can bring the system, you can bring any other thing. But the fact of the matter is that for me, I'm going to focus on my presidential bid. Nothing is going to stop me. And lastly, the other message I'm getting from this is the collapse of Jubilee Party. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were referred to as the dynamic duo. The expectations was that in 2022, Uhuru was going to support William Ruto. He's now not doing that. Where's Jubilee Party? Jubilee Party is dead. So the message, the message Uhuru Kenyatta, the message William Samoei Ruto was sending to Uhuru Kenyatta by talking about the system is trying to tell the president that we know so well that Jubilee is dead. You are the system, and we agreed we are going to do things this way, this way, this way. Now, Jubilee is dead. I'm going to face anybody, including yourself, if you are that system. So the deputy president, in my view, is acknowledging that there is an existence of a system. What is not coming out to tell us is that in 2013 and 2017, the system worked for them, and he was at deep inside that particular system, although he was elected. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. And if you're watching this video for the first time, please take a second or two and click subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and please may you enjoy your day. I'll be in Mombasa. Either on Friday or Saturday. Tokotane Mombasa.